shades of trust. The phone slipped from my hand, clattering against the hardwood floor like a gunshot in the silent apartment. Its screen glowed with a single message, stark and unyielding. "Meet me tonight. Same place. Don't tell her." My chest tightened, a vice of ice and fire squeezing my lungs. I stared at the words, sent from an unknown number to my husband, David, at 2:17 a.m. The timestamp burned into my mind, as if the hour itself were complicit in some betrayal I couldn't yet name. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight, and tried to breathe through the nausea curling in my gut. David was in the shower, the faint hiss of water drifting through the cracked bathroom door. Our loft, with its exposed brick and wide windows overlooking the city's restless pulse, felt suddenly foreign. The air was thick with the scent of his cedarwood soap, mingling with the coffee I'd brewed an hour ago, now cold in its pot. I clutched his phone, my thumb hovering over the message. My mind screamed to confront him, to demand answers, but another part, small, fragile, desperate, whispered that this could be a mistake. Prank. Anything but what it seemed. We'd been married 5 years, built a life of shared dreams and quiet routines. David, with his warm hazel eyes and crooked smile, was my anchor. I earned double his salary as a corporate lawyer, but he never resented it. He was the one who cooked dinner, who left sticky notes with bad puns on my briefcase, who held me when work left me hollow. Yet, for weeks, he'd been distant. Late nights at the office, vague excuses, a new password on his phone. I'd chalked it up to stress, to his graphic design firm's latest project. Now, each memory felt like a splinter, sharp and buried deep. I scrolled up, heart pounding. No other messages from that number, but there were gaps. Deleted texts, maybe? My fingers trembled as I opened his photos. A blurry shot of a woman's hand, manicured nails resting on a wine glass, timestamped last Thursday. The night he'd said he was working late. My vision blurred, tears stinging, but I forced myself to keep looking. A receipt from a bar we'd never been to. A selfie of him, grinning, with a background I didn't recognize. A neon sign, a crowded patio. Each image was a brick in a wall I hadn't seen being built. The shower stopped. My pulse spiked. I set the phone back on the counter, exactly where he'd left it, and wiped my eyes. The apartment was too quiet now. The city's hum outside a dull roar. David emerged, towel around his waist, hair dripping. "Morning, Liv," he said, his voice soft, familiar. He kissed my forehead, and I flinched, the warmth of his lips a betrayal against the cold dread in my chest. "You're up early," I managed, my voice steady despite the storm inside. I watched him pour coffee, his movements casual, unaware of the fault line cracking open between us. "Late night." The question slipped out, sharper than I meant. He paused, mug halfway to his lips. "Yeah, client revisions. You know how it is." His eyes didn't meet mine. A lie, small but heavy, like a pebble before an avalanche. All day, I carried the weight of that message, its words looping in my mind. At work, I stared through depositions, my thoughts spiraling. Was it an affair? A fling? Something worse? I remembered the way he'd laughed last week, a little too loudly, when I asked about his new cologne. The way he'd changed the subject when I noticed a faint perfume on his jacket. I'd rationalized it all. Trust was our foundation, wasn't it? But doubt gnawed, relentless. That night I followed him. Guilt churned in my stomach as I trailed his car through the city's veins, headlights slicing through the dusk. He parked outside a dimly lit bar, the neon sign from his selfie glowing like a warning. I waited, heart hammering, as he disappeared inside. Minutes stretched into an eternity. Then I saw her, a woman with auburn hair, slipping through the door, her hand brushing his as they met. My breath caught, raw and ragged. I wanted to scream, to storm in, but my body was lead, rooted to the car seat. Instead I drove home, the city blurring through tears. I sat in our loft, surrounded by our life. Photos, books, the quilt his mother made us, and felt it unraveling. When David returned, smelling of whiskey and lies, I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed proof, something undeniable to shatter the hope still clinging to my heart. The next day, I hired a private investigator, hating myself for it. She called 3 days later, her voice clipped. "It's not an affair, Olivia. It's worse." My blood ran cold. "He's been meeting with a journalist. Selling your firm's confidential client data. The woman's a front, feeding him cash for secrets." The phone slipped again, but this time I didn't pick it up. Betrayal wasn't just a broken vow. It was a knife in our future, our trust, our everything. David walked in, smiling, oblivious. "Hey Liv, you okay?" he asked, his voice a mockery of care. I stared at him, the man I loved, the man who'd sold me out. "Tell me about the bar, David," I said, my voice a blade. His smile faltered, and in that moment I saw the truth. A stranger wearing my husband's face.